once again, the Damon Floyd Show here on the Buzz 101.3, where all of our interviews are brought to you by Lost Margaritas on 25th Street. We encourage you to promote them and go there and tell them that you appreciate them supporting Bradley Central football there. Coach Floyd, things didn't turn out exactly like we wanted to last week. It was senior night and a big festive night again. We seemed like we had a lot of those here, but a lot of positive things come out of that. We lost at 48-42 to a very, very good Ray County team, and they're going to go deep in the playoffs, I feel sure, in 5A. So it wasn't a region game, but so it doesn't affect anything to do with us in the region with Maryville. The big battle's going to be Friday night, but a lot of positive things come out of that game Friday night, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I thought obviously offense played really well.
Yep.
They kept us in the game, and special teams played well. Wayne Dayton had a kickoff return for a touchdown.
Right.
But the bottom line is, if we're being quite honest, and I told the team this, as a coach, you always point out the players' mistakes. Like, this is what you did wrong. Well, let's be honest. I did not have the team ready. The defensive plan wasn't very good. So, you give up over 400 yards rushing, and that falls on me. And I just didn't have them in the right spots, and the game plan just, quite honestly, wasn't good. So, I apologized for the team for that, and we made some adjustments, and played better in the second half defensively, and we still had a chance to win. So I'm really happy with the way our kids just kept fighting and responded, over a lot of adversity. I think we were down 35-14. We ended up taking the lead at 36-35. So kids played with everything they got, and, as a coach, that's all you can ask for.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to say one of the things that really was impressive is we never gave up. We never quit. We were fighting all the way. Down 21 in the second quarter, and you think, well, this game's pretty much over sometimes. Yeah. But fought back, took the lead. Was up 42-35 even at one point there. But offense, we had 485 yards of offense. There's not a whole lot you can say bad about that. They only threw 6 times. They completed just 3, but one was that last one that got us there. Looking at Ray, from your point of view, from outside their pro, how deep can they go in the playoffs, you think, in 5A?
It's going to be very interesting. With what they do, it's so hard to game plan. I know it's coach's cliche, but you just don't see that offense. So for us defensively, going from, facing all spread teams, your fits are so different. They're so much tighter. There's not a lot of room in there. And all they want's a little crease, which they had big creases. But so our fits were totally different. But I guess long story short, I think Ray County, as the weather gets colder and you got to run the football in the playoffs, you're limited to offensive possessions. If they don't turn the ball over and, they don't have any serious injuries, things like that, I think they can make a deep run. Now, I've not looked at a whole lot of teams in 5A to see, but they're going to be a tough matchup for anyone because they're so – and they're obviously well coached, but they're so tough and physical, hard-nosed kids that and they believe they're supposed to win. And, I think when they stepped on the field Friday, they knew who we were, and they wanted to come in here and upset us on senior night. And, it was a good high school football game. Obviously, we're disappointed with the loss, but it's time to move on. It's
a good, tough opponent, though, kind of you want to play and like to play and have on our schedule there. And the thing about them, we get off the Ray here, but they had every guy in the backfield was a sophomore or a freshman for them the other night. And one of the running backs was not in the game. He was hurt or something, they told us. But so they're going to have to be dealt with down the road. Another solid game, Aiden, 15-24 passing, 269 yards, a touchdown. He rushed for 96 more, so he had well over 300 yards and 2 TDs rushing. And we said this numerous times, he gives all the credit to his offensive line for setting him up and protecting him and all that. Sometimes quarterbacks get blamed when things go bad too much. Sometimes they get too much credit when things are going good, because it's not just a quarterback. That pass receiver's got to run the right route, make the right turns, go the right depth or whatever. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But it's like the kicking extra points. It's a 3-man deal there. Yeah. Quarterback gets just 2, but you got to have your team protected. But he had a good game. He's come along really well.
Yeah, Aiden, the past 3-4 weeks, he's really, he's been 100% those last 3 or 4 games. So he's really opened it up, and he's become his dual threat. And like you said, the offensive line's always played well this year. But our receivers are starting to catch up. If you watch this from the first game of the season, actually from 7-on-7s to where we are now, it's the growth of our skill players who they just didn't have any experience coming into this year, and it just takes time. I know people don't really understand that, but they're starting to mesh really well. We're getting on the same page, and obviously Aiden's a major reason for that. So happy to see him playing well. Last 4 or 5 weeks.
I think Jackson Wilson, with the yards he had, over 100 yards, I think he's moved to 4th in the all-time in our regular season games, and in a season. But defensively, Rodney Williams had another good game, 8 tackles, 6 solo, 2 assists, a tackle for loss, a quarterback sack. He was in on that safety. He's just really, and he's a sophomore. He's coming on strong. Tito Williams, another sophomore, 10 tackles, a forced fumble. Junior J.D. Kirkpatrick, 9 solos. We called his name a lot the other night. A tackle for loss sack. Juniors, Gage Anderson and Knox Watson. I've not mentioned a senior in that whole group yet. We got some really good seniors, but here again.
I think we had some people out Friday. I think we only had one senior playing Friday night on defense, which is good for the future. And those guys you mentioned have played a lot of football already. Tito started as a freshman last year.
They're veterans now.
Yeah, Rodney started as a freshman last year. So those are really good players that are really disciplined. They read their keys. And obviously, we kind of put them in positions to, hopefully they make those tackles. And they've been doing a great job at that. So another one that wasn't in the stat line, but I got to give credit to, is Gage Anderson. His job, and he knew it going in, was you're probably not going to make a tackle. Now, he ended up making some, but his job was to keep those guys clean. And he was so unselfish, and he did his job every single snap Friday night of making sure those guys were unblocked. So, like you said earlier, it's a team game on both sides of the ball, but, just as well on defense. Those guys are free to make tackles because other guys are taking out blockers for them. So, but really happy, how we've progressed. We just got to continue to do that.
We're going to move on. What's one takeaway you tell your team from that game, looking back? Say, okay, it's over, get it. We learned from that. We're not going to see a team like that again this year with that kind of offense anyway. But
well, I didn't say that. I said I'm sorry, because and it's like we go back and we watch film, and the players will tell you when they do something wrong, I'm pointing it out and I'm telling them they're negatives. So I'm sorry that I did not put them in a better position to win the game, or even to start slowing them down, and that's on me. So I tell them, we tell them all the time, we're going to make mistakes as coaches. They're going to make mistakes as players. I made a mistake and did not have a good plan, and that was it, honestly. I mean, I told them I'm proud of their effort, but we moved on pretty quick. We didn't watch a lot of film. We watched 10 snaps from Ray County game, and then we went out to practice.
Okay, well, we all make mistakes. Lord knows I make enough of them on the air, on the radio broadcast too. Let's take a break right here. We'll come back and we'll talk about the big game for the region championship coming up this Friday night at Maryville as we take on the Rebels, who are unbeaten at this point in the region and overall. Mighty good team. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to The Buzz. Here's we wrap up our, look ahead to our show with our game Friday night with Maryville at Maryville. This is the Damon Floyd Coach Show. We're going to be talking about what we see from Maryville. And looking back at Maryville, I did a little research again over the weekend. George Quarles there, 17 years, won 11 state titles. He went to Furman, quarterbacks coach. Now he's associate head coach and offense coordinator down there. A well of a coach there, and Derek Hunt, who is being groomed, I guess, to take over. 4 years, he's won 2 state titles in 4 years, so no fall off there. Do you see any difference between the coaching style of what George brought and what Derek? He just continued, hey, this is a pretty good program. I ain't going to change a whole lot and just roll on, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of similarities. And Derek played quarterback for Coach Quarles and won a state title. I think he won 4.
3. Well, 4.
4 in football, and then he also won in basketball.
Well, so, he was 15-0 3 straight years in that 74-game winning streak.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good winner,
Yeah, and he's such a good guy, and so Coach Quarles was too. They're a class act program. I mean, the thing about Maryville is they have talent. I mean, I always get the question, what's the difference between Maryville? Well, they got a lot of Division I football players. I mean, it takes good players to win games, and they have them, and they have a Division I quarterback this year. They have 2 Division I wide receivers. I mean, so they're obviously very talented. Their offensive line's very good. So Coach Quarles really started around here the RPOs. I mean, he's the one that kind of really first started that.
Oh, okay.
And then Derek has taken it and kind of widened it. I mean, so game plan wise, there's 31 different formations that they have. And then our categories are they have 3 different motions off that. Well, they do it 22 different ways. And then they have 29 shifts. So they line up in one formation and they'll shift to something else.
Oh,
so it's
smart.
very, very multiple. Their kids are very smart. And they understand the concepts of what they're teaching. So they do a really good job of doing that. Defensively, they do not give up the big play. They do not miss tackles. So you have to drive the length of the field, and it's tough to get yardage on them when you add in the fact that they believe they're supposed to win. So we definitely have our hands full, but I have a lot of respect for them, just like anybody else around the state. You never hear anybody talk bad about Maryville, but it's the region championship, and it's game 10. At the beginning of the year, if you ask what our goals are going to be going into this week, this is our goal, to be in this position. So if you're not excited, I don't want you on the team. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's been I don't play, so but I wish I could. I'm not sure I could do anything. But if you don't want to play in this game, you don't need to be in the sport. And I told our kids, if you don't want to be on the team right now, leave. If you're not serious and you're not all in, and you don't think you got a chance to win, don't be out here. So I don't know. This is what you play for, and I hope our kids are excited.
Love these kind of games. Are exciting. Everybody's excited about that. And you set some goals at the beginning of the year. You know, you want to get in the playoffs. You want to win the region if you can, and you've accomplished some of those goals right there. So you're on your way, and players got to understand that. Maryville's thing, I said every year, it's just a mantra, I guess you say. They don't make many mistakes, but boy, when you do, they take advantage of that. And that's a well-coached team, as you said. No doubt they're a well-coached team. Are we going to be back in full force with defense this week? I know we had some guys out last week.
Isaiah Arnold's still out. I'm not sure if we even get to play anymore this year. And then Josh Helsden, he should be back, which will be, that was 2 D linemen last week. So Josh will help us a lot this week. But like I say all the time, injuries are no excuse. We got other guys that practice. They got to step in and raise their standard of play. And we had some guys do that Friday, and some didn't. And we've got to be at whoever's on the field Friday has got to play very, very well for us to have a chance.
Well, no matter the outcome, we're going to be home for the playoffs Friday week. Do you know who it would be? Do you have an idea who you think it would be, or? I
don't know.
Okay.
We're not even. We haven't
not
talked
even
a
looking
bit
that far
about
ahead.
it.
Okay, well that's okay. I keep seeing all the stuff on the internet about so and so and so. There's so many possibilities out of that group up there. Playing at Maryville, is there a mystique to play at Maryville? Everybody says, well, you're already 12, 14 points down. You go in there. It's not. To me, it's not a mystique. It's just the way they play and the way you've got to play to get up to their level, because they're not going to back off and try to dumb their play down, because they feel sorry for it. It ain't going to happen.
Oh no, the atmosphere is a little different. I mean, you see all the banners of the state championships, and obviously it's very crowded, and our fans are right on top of us, so we can hear all the fans telling us what we're doing wrong. So yeah, it's unique.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of places like that. I think it's my favorite place to go play. I've been an underdog my whole life. We're underdogs this week. That's the way I like it, and I just want to go see us fight, and whatever happens. But I don't know. The talking's over for me. I know this is a show, and we got to talk about it. But our kids need to be ready to go and
you're ready to play tonight, aren't you?
Game. Well, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated, and our kids need to be ready to show up. And if you don't want to show up, then I'm not the right guy for this program anymore. And I want to see kids show up and want to go get it. And if you're not wanting to play for championships, I don't know why you play. So.
Well, one comment, that is my favorite road place to go, because we're close to the field. The fans are close to the field. There's no track around it. We're right there on the field, and they're in your ear, basically, on the visiting side there. We need as many Bear fans there so we can get them Friday night. We've had good following all year long, as we always do. Everybody's excited about getting to play up there at Maryville. They know it's a region championship, and you couldn't ask for more. I mean, it's here, It's here for the taking.
That's the way I feel. I hope our team feels that way. So, just to be quite honest, I was very frustrated in our team walkthrough and team lift this morning in the weight room, and it's a little bit of a lackadaisical attitude, so that's got to change before Friday, and that's my job to get them ready. So I'm going to do what it takes to do our part, and hopefully the kids will rally.
Well, Coach, we know you'll have them ready. We look forward to that game Friday night. That'll be here on the Buzz 101.3. We'll have a 5:30 pregame show. We're having a 7 o'clock kickoff, of course, as all the games this year basically are at 7 o'clock kickoffs. We'd like to thank Los Margaritas again for being the sponsor of our coaches' interviews each week. I'd like to remind you, you can see these interviews on the Buzz, or hear it on the Buzz. You can see it on YouTube as well as Twitter and Facebook. Just look for the BCHS Bear Network, and you can see these. They'll stay out there for quite some time. Yours to enjoy. I'd like to thank Mr. Stroy and his broadcast class here at Bradley Central Studio H12 for their continued broadcast and production of these games here. Until next time, let's get a big win Friday night. God bless, and go Bears.